All right, here we are. We're officially live. Friday, smile on my face, gear in front of me. It's been a long week. I guess you could say it's been a long past few weeks, but we just wrapped up with a bunch of big projects. That's kind of why I want to just hop on, go live, talk about the S5, talk about some recent projects, also show you guys just some new goodies that I actually ended up getting for the S5. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, of course, drop them below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, or any experiences, things that you do like, don't like about the S5, or just let's just talk cameras in general. It's Friday, feeling good, smile on my face. And yeah, like I mentioned, I just wrapped with a couple of big projects, whether it be for YouTube or actually even being on the strictly video production side, wrapped up with a big recap event, which we made a video for YouTube recently in regards to that. And then on top of that, we've just got some other new content in regards to trying to go live a little bit more. It seems like YouTube likes that. I'm trying to switch up the template here, as you guys might be able to see, trying to get that audio locked in and make it a bit of a, a good user experience for those that are going to be a part of the stream. Now, all that being said, S5, let's talk about it. Anybody out there own one? Maybe you own a GH5, a GH4, maybe you own a GH6, all fantastic cameras. And if you're new to the channel, one thing I love to talk about is Lumix cameras. Now, I've had a background in shooting with these from the GH4 all the way up to the S5 and plan to go even further into the Lumix kind of system. Now, for reference, a cam these days is going to be the Lumix S5. As you guys can kind of see here, currently rocking the 20-60. Now, this is the kit lens, and to be honest with you, for the price, I have gotten my money's worth out of it tenfold. It takes good photos. It has pretty reliable audio or autofocus, and I say that as someone that's coming from Lumix cameras, so don't take that in consideration if you're a Canon or Sony shooter, but I do find that the autofocus is definitely something that I use more and more than I ever have with like my GH4 or GH5. Now, the 20-60, one thing about this particular lens, it's just great for vlogging, and then when I use auto face tracking, I find that it comes in handy and works rather well. So, let's see, not yet, but hopefully soon. What kind of camera are you on? But yeah, I would just say the reason that I kind of like really spend so much time on the channel talking about the S5 and the Lumix cameras is I think for the price tags that these cameras are bringing to the table, I just think what they pack and include, it really, I mean, it might be naive to say this, but like they do have so much when you purchase one of these cameras when it comes to the video side of things, and even with the S5 photography, that I just think the price tag is definitely worth the bang for the buck. And then on top of that, I think what's kind of nice is that a lot of people end up buying the S5 or they buy the GH5 or something of that nature, and for the first time they've got extremely good IBIS. They now have waveforms, they have peaking, they have zebras, things that maybe in the past were just not a must-have, but now maybe moving into 2022 and 2023, it is for a lot of cameras, but Lumix has been doing it for a long time and at a great price. Now, I don't want to yap too much about the kit lens because this is what a lot of you guys probably see when you come across this kind of stuff online. Yo, what up, Chuck? Mobile, Alabama. I'm actually going to be over in, is it Orange Beach, Alabama? Wherever Floribama is. I'm going to be over there for a wedding in like 6 to 8 months. Love that area. Good times. But going deeper into like just the Lumix system as a whole, like I mentioned, I just think great bang for the buck. And many people, I think what they find is they end up purchasing this camera and like they don't even max it out. Like I've had the S5 now for a full year, I think, and I still am shooting in 8-bit. Now, that's a little bit on me. I do shoot 10-bit for some of my bigger projects, but someone on the channel recently asked me why I would have the S5 and shoot 8-bit, and it's really because a lot of the footage that I film, I also edit, but my clients like to have it for their own purposes in RAW form, and it's no knock on me or anything like that, but it's so much easier to give them 8-bit codec stuff, and then also actually just send it over in Rec 709. So I'm eliminating kind of any roadblocks that might come. So to answer that question that was on the channel in regards to 8-bit versus 10-bit, it's to save space, it's to save time and make it very easy for someone else to work with. Now, if I were going to be passing it off to a pro, of course, I'd want to use a different bit of codec. Now, that being said, let's talk about some of the goodies that have recently either come in the mail or I purchased myself. Now, some of this has to do with the S5, some of it's just personally beefing up some of the arsenal in regards to tools. Now, SSD cards, or not even SSD cards, SSD external drives. Look, if you don't have one, highly recommend it. I would say probably 3 or 4 times a year, I happen to get some kind of message from someone where their hard drive failed on them, the disk isn't spinning anymore. And man, the honest truth is if that happens to you these days, you're either going to pay a buttload of money and you can get it recovered, or you might just have to bite the bullet and figure a workaround. It's really a tough thing, and I think it has to happen to everyone in regards to buying hard drives. But I use these SSD drives, and I know there's probably better ones that you can get than the Samsung, but SSD in general, or no, SanDisk. I don't know why. Samsung SanDisk. I get them backwards. But I have actually 2 of these, and these are more so for travel. Do I work off of them on my computer? I do. I use it with my iMac. But I just find these are kind of the things that I like to take with me on the road, basically to just less anxiety in regards to hard drives failing. Now, of course, I'm being very redundant when I'm out filming and editing and doing things on the fly, but you never know. These are going to come in handy. So the first purchase recently, the wifey gave me the thumbs up, was a hard drive, 1 terabyte. 2 terabytes get expensive. Love my S5 and kit lens. Yes, I'm raw. I have been more than happy with this. Now, I will say the price tag, I think, went up a little bit, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I want to say like you can get one for like $1,500, which is still a steal, but I don't know if that comes with the kit lens anymore. But this kit lens gets used a ton when it comes to YouTube. I have mentioned it in some of my past videos. What I just do find is for like my higher end stuff, I like to pull out the, bear with me, either the Canon 24-105, which I'll use with my Sigma adapter, or we'll even use on the S5 the super beefy 70-200 Canon. Now, of course, this is an F4. I wish it was an F2, but this plus the S5. Jeez, I'm getting my words tied here. But the S5 plus the 70-200 plus the Sigma MC21 adapter. Love it, and find myself actually using that a lot when it comes to events. And like I've mentioned here on the channel, been really trying to kind of give you guys more of a glance into how I capture events. I found it for 2022 to be very lucrative, and also I get to hire other people to help me carry out some of these events. I've actually got another one coming up in November. Mid-November, we're going to be going down to Orlando again, and it's going to be a little bit of a smaller production than the last recap video that I did, but this time it's just going to be a 2-man band doing photography and videography. And I say all that to say, too, is that the 70-200 and the 24-105 are kind of my go-tos for any kind of event recaps. And I know people get a little wishy-washy on the F4, but the S5 in regards to video and ISO is that I find that as long as I don't really, I mean, ISO 4000 is its native ISO, so like as long as I don't exceed 6400, which, man, if you're having to go to 6400, I actually just feel bad for you. But I can still get great footage at an F4 at 6400 or ISO 4000. And worst case scenario, this is like a thing that I used to not do when I was a beginner, and I do it so much now, and I love this little trick, and that is just underexpose. Do not blow out your highlights, underexpose. When you get into your editor, you're going to be able to bring everything up, lift things up. And I just find a lot of times, like, if I'm willing to kind of underexpose a little bit, so instead of going all the way up to ISO 6400, maybe going down to the native at 4000, I'll get better results than pumping it up at the 6400. I hope that makes sense, but yeah. Great go-to lens. I know they're still expensive, but the Canon glass when I'm working for big bucks is what I go to. Of course, I'd love to have Zeiss or Primes, but event recap stuff, you need to be able to have some zoom, baby, because you're just going to be up a shit's creek if you just have a prime lens, and that's just being honest. What do we got going on here, boys? I got it last week, the S5. Ooh, hey, proud of you. Proud of you. You're going to love it, Chuck. Yeah, I'm looking with the Rokinon Cine lenses. Oh, You know, this is what I find. I'm actually filming with a Rokinon fisheye piece of glass right now. It's like a 7.5 on the Micro Four Thirds camera, so it's like a 14, I guess, basically. But I love the look of the Rokinons, man. I swear, if I show up on a big production, some people kind of like laugh. Oh, you got the Rokinon Cine Glass. That's what everybody gets. But I don't blame everybody. For $1,500, you can pretty much get the complete set, I think. 15, maybe $2,000. And I'm going to go the EF mount route. But I actually was going to pick up an entire set a few months ago. A guy was selling them a 24, a 35, a 50, and an 85. I think he was selling them all for $1,000, but the wife wouldn't let me pull the trigger. And to be honest with you, probably made sense at the time, but one of these days I'm going to get them all. So, hey, I'm jealous of you, Chuck, on that. So moving further into gear, we kind of discussed hard drive. One thing that some of you have probably seen on the channel, maybe not, monitors. Shinobi, Atomos, Ninja. Whether it's the Shinobi or it's the Ninja V, man, I was a bozo at the time. I could have actually gotten the Ninja V with the recorder or whatnot for like $50 more. I don't know why I didn't. I think in my head I just thought, well, if I get it, I'm going to need to get memory cards, so getting like a 1 terabyte or whatnot. So I didn't pull the trigger on it. Instead, I got the Atomos Shinobi with SDI out. Not really sure why I went that route. I do like the ability that I have SDI, but I think in the future I'll probably get some kind of recording device or monitor that has a recorder in it. So maybe the Ninja V or maybe even the Blackmagic, or if something new comes out, taking a look at it. But I've been thrilled with this monitor, so don't get me wrong. I just think that for the extra $50, probably should have just gone ahead and pulled the trigger on the other one. But monitors. Oh my God. Hopefully I didn't break it. I'll say this, when it comes to monitors, I think most of you, if you're starting to charge $500 or more a day in regards to your production, I think you need to go ahead and invest in a monitor. Now, I get it. Some of us have to go ahead and start with the Feel World monitors. And I worked for a production company for a while that we used those for every film set. And you know, are the colors as accurate as some others? No, but I think it's one of those things. A monitor is a must-have as you start charging what I would consider good rates, because you got to get that focus right. And on top of that, there's just something about a client when, even if they need to look at your shot or not, but they can kind of just see it from a distance and they get a taste of what's going on. I think it's just a better pathway for success in regards to them feeling a little bit more happy. And also, you're just going to get a better glance at what the hell's going on in your frame. I mean, I've found in the past when I'm using these little bitty, you know, LCD monitors, which are awesome, but you might have all your display stuff information on there, and then you forget that there's like a wire somewhere in a corner or something like that, whereas you might pick it up on a monitor. Now, I typically rock 5-inch monitors. That's just personal preference since I do so much kind of run and gun style shooting. I do think that if a big enough budget comes across the table, I would upgrade to a 7-inch, mainly for interviews and things of that nature. Probably not to literally run around with, but yeah, monitor, must have, 2022, 2023. If you guys are out there rocking S5s, you're making money, this is what you want to do for a living, or even just you're kind of past that enthusiast phase, but you're more now into, you're pretty damn good at what you do, you need a monitor. Other goodies that I've talked about, and I want to bring this one up mainly because this thing is just one of my faves by far, and it's just a small rig handle for your hot shoe here. Now, I don't use it in this fashion typically, actually. I use it with my Tilta cage. Great investment as well. Small rig has a good one, but I went with the Tilta. A little bit beefier, I feel like. But this small rig handle, fantastic. I've got a small rig monitor mount as well, and then I have this interesting little, like, I don't even know what you call this because I got it from Falcon Eyes. They sent me an RGB LED light and it came with it, but I actually use this to mount my shotgun microphone, my Movo VXR10 Pro, and I just use that to get kind of like my scratch audio or just audio that can possibly be used to sync things, or even sometimes I find, man, I get such good audio on board that I end up rolling with that. But small rig handle, this is another thing. As you guys start moving into monitors, you start moving into those goodies, I think handles are going to come in handy. And I just find, look, I don't have the biggest hands. I'm a 5'6" dude. So let's just say, I think if you got big ass hands, you maybe want to go find something that might work a little bit better for you. But for me, man, you can see right there, I can fit my entire hand and have a little bit of real estate left. If I got rid of this guy right here, it would give me some more finger room, I guess, as well. But I like this because it's got plenty of holes, plenty of adapters. I can run some wires through there. Pretty heavy duty, and I've never had any issues with it. Now, other items. We've talked about this. I've done a full review. This is just kind of my run and gun V-mount setup here. I've got a Manfrotto quick release. In a nutshell, if I were to kind of show you guys, it would just be tilt, boom, locked in there with the camera, all quick release, so you can come out of there real fast. Also, on the bottom of this, we would have a quick release as well, so that we can go from handheld to a tripod really quick and easy. And then we've got a small rig, this little V-mount adapter plate. I used to, well, I still have it, but I have this exact plate by itself. Bought that at first, but then I just come to find the ability to kind of adjust this and distribute the weight when it comes to the V-mount comes in handy, and that's why I've got the rails and everything. I just found that I wanted to beef up the camera, be able to put a little bit more weight on it, have that V-mount so I could run all day, and yeah, really been happy with this setup. I would say for all these goodies and stuff, it was maybe $200, but it's been well worth it, and you know, it collects dust a lot, but for the big projects, I would say that's when it pays for itself. And, you know, I'm not going all in buying a ridiculous amount of things, but V-mount battery, I actually bought a second one from Newer recently, and this is to power, it's way in the back. I actually don't have it turned on, but my Wii light, it's a 80-watt mini Bowens mount light, and I use this to power it on the fly with a V-mount plate, and then I go D-tap into the light. I find that with this small battery, I was getting quite a bit of life when it came to doing interviews and stuff, and it just made me really portable. And this battery, obviously you can see compared to this V-mount here, significantly thinner. I want to say this was like $120 off Newer. And when it comes to batteries, man, it is what it is. I'm just not looking to break the bank, so that's why I went that route. Questions. Chuck says, yeah, I'm loving the Rokinon Cines. Great images. Yeah, man, recording in ProRes rocks, but handheld gets heavy fast. Tripods are awesome. Everything he said is truth bomb. I will say this. I have not actually filmed any ProRes with my S5, so I would love to, in the near future, do that. I think it'd be one of those situations where personally I would see the value in it. I'd love how it looks, how the edit flow goes. It'd probably be a tough sell for my clients, so that's where maybe in most cases I'd probably actually stay away from ProRes unless it was just a personal project, and then I'd probably take it to that level. But I like hearing that the ProRes rocks, and I agree with you, man. Holding these cameras when they get real beefy, it's one of those things. Hit the gym, or honestly, just... they're heavy as shit. I mean, I was recently carrying a Red with a Dizio, whatever their Dizio zoom lens is. It has the same aperture, but it has the ability to do some zoom. So it was a Red plus V-mount plus a massive small HD 7-inch monitor, that Dizio glass. And carrying that around made me literally just be like, I love my S5 in the setup. Because I don't get me wrong, that Red image was awesome. But if I had to carry that Red around all day, I'd probably end up wanting to just get an S5 or something a little bit lighter weight, because cost benefit and the quality of image, and particularly when it's compressed and goes out into social media, I'm cheap. I want to go with the S5. I'd rather have something that's a little bit more lightweight. But I agree, these things can get really beefy. All right, another goodie. I actually just bought the other day. I'm not a photographer, but I have done a handful of photography gigs, and I've got one coming up in 2 weeks in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm going to be using the S5. I'll be using the 20-60, but I'm also going to be using the 24-105, and I might even use the 70-200 once again with the MC21 booster, or not even booster, just adapter. Reason being is I actually do find for photography, autofocus is pretty darn good. I'm not going to say it's perfect, But the reason I bought a flash, and I bought a cheap flash, is one, used it the other day, worked okay. I'm not familiar with them, but I'll be goofing around with it for the next 2 weeks. But I bought it because my gut says they want me to do these VIP photos, and a lot of these events that I go to, they have like banners, and they have their dinner, and then after the dinner, before their dinner, they're just doing photos real quick. And a lot of times the lighting is absolutely awful. Of course, I could bring a big dome light or something of that nature just to kind of light the space and then see what the camera can do. But I got the flash just in the rare scenario. I think it was only like 90 bucks, that I walk in there and it's just like completely dark and I have no control of the space. So we're going to have this, and I'm going to do some photography with the S5, which, like I said, in the past, man, every time I've looked at the photos, I'm kind of like, damn, I should probably be doing some more photography. But yeah, that's why I've got this. Another little item to add. For the 80 or 90 bucks, it'll help me in a pinch, and that's what I'm kind of just, I want to avoid any catastrophe in regards to, hey, we need photos, and oh, whoops, I didn't bring a flash. Other item, super cool, and it just got released the other day, is Movo's. This might be the tiniest lavalier wireless setup that I've used. Wireless lavalier setup, like whatever. This thing's so cool. It's for your iPhone, and everything that comes in this box fits in this little bag. And we have our 2 transmitters, number 1. And we have transmitter number 2. And then we have our receiver. Look at that receiver. This goes into your iPhone. And do I have one? I have an old school iPhone, but so here we go. Boom. Just like that. Power it up. Wireless audio. It's stupid. It is stupid tiny. Do I have a double? Hold on, let me show you how tiny it is. All right, most of you guys are familiar with the damn AA AA battery. Look at that. Can you see that? That's crazy. Super tiny, super thin. And if you want the full review of it, you can go over to Movo's channel. I did a full review, but I also be doing one on my channel where I completely go through the good, the bad, everything about this microphone. But the overall kind of perception that I had in its experience is that it's so damn tiny and gets pretty darn good audio. I actually got in a super pinch, forgot my lavalier set, and ended up having this in my bag, which I could not at the time actually film it or show it, but I was able to hide the mic enough. I actually put it in a guy's pocket, similar to this, like that. Put it in his pocket and got pretty solid audio, and this was an outdoor interview. Now, of course, I would have loved to have my beefier audio set, but whoops. So this Movo wireless, I forget the name, Mini Duo. Yes, baller. Really like it, and I want to say they're under $100. And on a professional side of things, like I said, I used it for a professional shoot, but I think anyone that's in the smartphone game, this little setup is just so tiny and so efficient that it's kind of a no-brainer. And I'm glad they sent me these, because it's very rare that I get technology where I'm like, holy, and this did it, mainly because of the size, and the audio quality is pretty good. You even have the ability of noise cancellation. The only downfall that I had with it, really, and I'll do this in my full review as well, is that I did need to boost the audio a little bit in post-production. But that's more, I think most people, if they're using this, they're going to love what comes right out of camera. It's just me being on the more professional side, I wanted to raise those levels a little bit higher, but man, for size, awesome. What else we got? How are we looking? We've been streaming for a little bit here. Wife's got to go pick up my son here in just a little bit. And more goodies. Okay. I'm sure many of you guys, if you're tuning in, are what's Chuck got going on here? Talking about the Ninja V. No, the Ninja V is awesome. Yeah. All right, so Peter McKinnon. Many of you guys, I know for sure, he released something similar to this. Now, this is like the staple smart rig little tool, belt, kit, little thing, whatever you want to call it. Awesome, right? Well, I do like it. Now, his, definitely, from what I can see, or like what I watched, his is probably a little bit more thought through, but this was 20 bucks. Bought it recently to take on the fly for my big event, and I found it really handy. The only downfall is just some of these are a little bit loose, but I would highly recommend many of you at least taking consideration into one of these, mainly because I've just found so many times where it's like, man, your fingernail might not cut it, or you need to tighten up something a lot more. Maybe you don't even have some change with you to get there and do the tightening you need. So this definitely comes in handy, and it's got its nice little carry case. More little goodies. Like I said, 20-something bucks. I think it was one of those investments that I should have made a long time ago, but it's nice to have it now. Ooh, the gooseneck. Man, I kind of feel like I'm spoiled here. I got a bunch of new stuff. But like I mentioned, we just wrapped up a ton of projects, so I go through these waves where like a big project will come up, enough money might be made that then kind of have like a list of things like that I would ideally like. And so when the money is there and the wife gives the approval, then we pull the trigger. Gooseneck microphone. Pretty unique. Actually, what we've been using the entire time. This is an interesting one. And what I've found is I've been experimenting with it for live streaming, and I've kind of did a Zoom call the other day with it, and it's a weird mic, but it's like weird in a good way, because I think it might be something that like people that do Zoom calls or they do live streams, or even if you do like your traditional podium. So let me just hold it up. I don't know if you guys can really see it here, but like people that do traditional like long speeches and stuff, right? This is a USB-C to USB microphone. It has an XLR input, and then it has the ability on it to like mute it and unmute it. As far as audio control goes, that's going to be pretty much on the user end of things. It kind of does its own thing. But one thing that I find that's pretty cool about it is that I could see in a weird scenario where if you're like a one-man band operation, you got hired to do like this event, and you knew that everyone was going to go up to a podium, and you needed to get really good audio, but you didn't trust the actual AV guys. Dude, I'm pretty convinced you could take this, put it on stage with the other mic, if there was one there, or if there wasn't, and you could position your laptop or some sort of finagling to get this to actually be your audio feed and probably get really good audio. Also, I think it's just, it's 3 clicks. So you click in the XLR, you click in the USB, you plug in your USB in the back of your computer, and you're ready to go. You guys, actually, because you're some of the first people to probably even hear this, would be, what do you think of the audio? I've been kind of like on the fence about it. I think last time I was like way too on top of the microphone. And then also I'm recording through OBS and doing all the streaming that way. So I'm kind of seeing my levels, but I'm not hearing anything. So it's one of those scenarios where I run a couple of tests on the front end, try to keep my distance away from the mic. And then, yeah, I don't know. Unique little microphone in regards to streaming and things of that nature. I don't know the price tag on it, but they sent me in the mail. I'm just doing some tests, probably a full review down the road, but it's a cool little microphone. What else have we got here? Ooh, the final thing. And I know we got a ton of gear here, but some of it's old, some of it's new. But the last but not least, and I can't actually show you what comes in this yet. It got released, I think, yesterday or today, but Movo released a new lavalier set, their WMX2. Love for you guys to go take a look at it, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I get sent one that I can give away as well. It comes in a single wireless lavalier set, and it comes in a duo, and what you guys are seeing is its little charging kit, and it's pretty slick and nice, and I've been working with it now for the past couple of weeks, and the audio that I get out of this lavalier set, let's just say it's very similar to a DJI Go as far as size and kind of how it functions, and I've been pretty happy with it. I think the audio is pretty solid, and I've been actually putting it up against my Stenhauser G3s, which are definitely older, but they're Stenhauser Gold Standard, and Movo is hanging right there with it, and a lot of goodies come with this. So those are the goodies so far that have been kind of coming down the pipeline. But another thing I kind of wanted to talk to you guys about, let's just talk about YouTube in general and what you guys are kind of seeing here in regards to, like, where are you guys finding success? Tell me, maybe, yay, nay. I find that, like I said in the beginning of this video, like, I love making content, but also when I'm super busy, it's kind of hard to make the content. And on top of that, it's like, it's this cross between, do you spend a lot of time and make something really good that people appreciate, which I think that's what you inevitably should do, is just stay the course, do that, and inevitably in time they'll come. But I also think what ends up happening sometimes is that you kind of want to meet the algorithm and things of that nature. So you kind of come up with these like quick ways to make content. And what I've kind of found recently, at least from some of the content creators that I watch, not all in the creator space on the video side, more so on like some of you are political, some are educational, things of that nature. It seems like the new go-to is do some live streams and then also intersperse your, your like edited content throughout. So if any of you guys are wondering, that's kind of what we're trying to do here. I'm trying to experiment with a way to create a stream that is appealing to you guys, whether it be through actually showing you what I'm doing here, or giving you guys some advice, things of that nature. I do think one thing I want to try to do in the near future is some live editing. And the reason being is I think live editing would be pretty sweet, because I could basically bring in some of my footage and start from beginning to end. Now, I know some of you are probably going to get frustrated with that, because you're going to probably come across some things where you're like, this is very redundant, I already know how to do this. But for others, I think it might be one of those where they can watch and kind of learn in real time. And on top of that, I can answer people's questions. So my thoughts are in the near future is doing something that's talk to camera like we're doing right now, but also some live editing where I'll show you guys how I kind of like clip up some of my stuff for Instagram. No like super long form stuff, but very quick, do some color grading, things of that nature. And I did actually forget one thing that's coming down the pipeline here. I got an email 2 days ago. Pop this up on the screen. Hopefully you guys can see it. I'm actually see if I can make it full screen. All right, so this is coming in the mail. For any S5 shooters out there, this is a Viltrox adapter. So EF mount glass to L mount. And this is going to be similar to my Sigma MC21. And I'll show you guys another photo that they sent me of it here. And this should be coming in the mail. I actually received some tracking just the other day. And I'm interested to test this out. Now, side note, I actually lucked out, and I think I'm getting 2 of them. They're sending me their old model and their new model. So one of you, most likely, will be lucky enough to, if we'll try to figure out a way to get one of those in y'all's hands that you can keep, because there's no reason why I would need 2. But yeah, we're going to be doing a full review of this, and I'll probably even kind of compare it against the Sigma. I've been very happy with my Sigma adapter, and like I've mentioned in past videos for many of you guys, it really boils down to just the Sigma adapter allowed me to just take all my Canon glass, adapt it, workflow was nice, easy, and it's one of those things where I kind of beat it like a drum, but I'm trying to save money here. I'm trying to figure out ways not to have to spend money so that I can attain things that I need, but also things that might be shiny objects that really aren't going to change my workflow or really help. I'm trying to avoid those. So that's one scenario where I think these adapters really come in handy. And sometimes I'd say the big benefit of these adapters too is just it's going to put you in a situation where you're going to be able to kind of be in a workflow that you were already used to. I think a lot of people get scared away from knowing that they're going to have to buy like the new L-mount glass because some of the price tags are so expensive and you can't find anything used. So it's one of those scenarios where that adapter will be pretty cool to review. Well, we are currently rolling up on 7.5 minutes. Wow, thought I was actually on here a lot longer. Started the stream a little bit later than I thought. But yeah, it's Friday. Like I mentioned, I wanted to hop on here, create some content, spread some smiles, some good vibes, and yeah, whatever you guys are up to, I hope all is well. I hope your video adventure, whether it be on the enthusiast side or on the professional side, is slowly but surely, little by little, becoming what you were kind of looking forward to what it would become. I think that's what I kind of find in my little journey is there's constant just ups and downs and all arounds. But when I kind of take a step back and I look at things sometimes on more of the broad scale, so like in year perspective rather than on like a week to week or a month to month. Most of us, if you're out there, you're putting yourself out there, you're working hard, you're grinding, I hope you're getting ahead, not behind. And I hope anything that I can help you with out there, whether it be for video production, workflow, finances, things of that nature. We'll be trying to cover it a little bit more and more here on the channel. And obviously you guys can see we got a good 5 of you here, 5 strong. I love it. I'll take what I can get. The fact that 5 of you are out there willing to listen to me yap, I appreciate it. It's a Friday, trying to wrap things up. Hopefully hit the pool later today. What's Chuck saying? I like the fact that the Sigma MC21 is tight and not loose like the adapter on the GH5. Amen, brother, on that. That is, hey, he brings up a good point. What I used to find on my GH5 is that, and this is the $700 Metabone Speed Booster. It's, all right, it's wiggling in there. No, not a ton, but it's definitely wiggling, and I understand what Chuck's saying. I also have a Comlight Speed Booster similar to this, just kind of like the knockoff version, and it does the same thing, but even more. With the MC21, I don't know what they did in regards to how it locks with the S5. Could be that, but solid connection. I never feel like the lens is like on the verge of just wiggling out or not being connected properly. Whereas on like the GH5 and even the GH4 sometimes I'd find it being a little wishy-washy. But I guess that's to be expected. Newer technology, better design, more thought through. But yeah, totally agree with that. I do enjoy the MC21. But hey guys, time to go pick up my kids. Time to enjoy the weekend, and I hope you guys do the same. But as always, it's Trey Lowell here with Lowell Productions. If you like the content I keep creating here on the channel, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like the content we keep creating on the channel, which I just repeated, maybe you should hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. It's funny doing these things live, because it's not that I fudge these up when I'm like filming as much, but like the live aspect, it's just kind of funny, because like there are no oopsies, there's no like take backs. It is what it is, and it's here to stay. And it's public, but it's fun. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining. And I'll see y'all in the next video. We'll be talking about some audio gear. We'll be talking about some photography with the S5. And we'll be doing some vlogging / recapping out in St. Louis. So, yeah. I hope all you have a great weekend. And good deal, great show, and good seeing that. I love it, man. I'm going to start trying to incorporate. I got to do these during the daytime because it's just, or maybe I'll do them at night. I don't know. Trying to figure it out. You guys drop a comment what you think. Day, night, what would be better? I'd like to drink some beer and do these. Some of you will make fun of me because I'll probably be drinking seltzers. Got to be careful on those, man. Make the gut bubbly. But, yeah, more of these to come. Hopefully weekly. Try to, like I said, we'll spice it up. We'll get some graphics in here, and eventually, maybe if I get good enough with OBS, and that's going to take some time, we can start incorporating other people into the show, things of that nature. But y'all have a great weekend, and let's play some tunes, relax, and do our thing. And if you're wondering what's going on here, we're boosting up that music, and slowly but surely here in a second, taking me out. Because it's the weekend.